Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another live stream watch along on the Dibbly-Dobbly podcast. It is the T20 World Cup, match number 10, Group B at the Kensington Oval. It's Australia versus Oman, and we've just started the second innings, of course, and Josh Hazlewood bowling this second over. Australia have already picked up a wicket in the second innings. That was Mitchell Starc getting the first wicket of this Oman innings. Oman being set 165 by Australia on a pitch that's a bit slow and not really coming onto the bat, the ball. Going to be a challenging score indeed for the Oman batters. Hazlewood is in. And this one, a good length outside off stump. Left alone by Prabhati. And there is no run. But good to be back covering this T20 World Cup. We're going to have lots of fun during this tournament. And the Australian team, one of the favourites to win. And no doubt they've started well in this first game. Jihan, a very good morning or good evening, wherever you may be, if you're over there in the Caribbean. You say Joel Wilson's in classic form. Yes, that LBW was going down. The leg side from Joel Wilson. Hazlewood is in. This one short outside off stump and worked away by Prabhati, but only to backward point, no run. Oman 1 for 13, chasing 165. Australia looked like that wasn't going to be the case at one stage in their innings. They found run scoring difficult, but David Warner and Marcus Stoinis putting on a good partnership. Marcus Stoinis making a half century, and same with David Warner. So I suppose, in a way, that is a good way for those two to get their tournament started and get back into some run-scoring form, especially David Warner, who didn't have a great IPL this year. Hazlewood is in. And this one full, traps Prabhati on the pads, but an inside edge, you would think. And there is no run. Dot ball from Hazlewood. Jihan says they had to review the first wicket too. Two of his classic decisions in the first over. Yes, well, the first one was absolutely plumb, Jihan, and no doubt it was. But the second one, definitely going down the leg side. Good review from Oman. You say, Jihan, I'm still in Perth, leaving late tonight. Should be in Barbados Friday night. Well, that's fantastic to hear, Jihan. Hazlewood is in. Prabhati works it off the face of the bat, down to third man for a single. He moves on to 6. It's the end of the over, 1 for 14 after 2. Well, fantastic to hear that, Jihan. A long flight ahead of you to Barbados, but definitely good atmosphere at the ground. Obviously, we've seen some good matches there thus far. Namibia and Oman the other night, super over. Obviously, England and Scotland was a bit of a damp sort of affair the other day, but this game tonight against Australia and Oman. So no doubt it's going to be a good atmosphere when you arrive, Jihan, there. We'll need some daily updates from you on your journey in this trip of a lifetime, that's for sure. Wonderful place to go for a holiday, the Caribbean. Nice and warm. Starc is in. This one full, defended by Prabhati. There's no run. Oman, up against it. They struggled in their game against Namibia, where they were bowled out for 109. Batting first against Namibia the other night, which ended in a super over in favour of Namibia after David Wesser did what he did. So chasing 165 will be a tall order for the Oman team, but they can give it a crack. Starc is in. This one short and worked off the hip by Prabhati to the leg side. He'll pick up a run. Leg by in the end. And the score moves on to 1 for 15. Well, thanks everyone for joining us, wherever you may be. Joining us around the world. T20 World Cup, of course, has been interesting, this World Cup, over the last few days since the tournament started. We've seen some good games. We've seen some games in New York that have been a bit Probably not as entertaining as people would have thought. Starc is in. This one short and down the leg side. And would be called a wide by the umpire. So an extra run there for Oman to their tally. But Mitchell Starc, not a surprise that he struck early in the first over. He has a bit of a habit of striking in the first over with the first wicket. Not a surprise it was a full toss LBW that he got for that first wicket. But certainly a good start for Australia, looking to get their tournament started and look to hit this tournament on a good note. Starc in, this one full and well dug out by a cube. And there is no run. Good Yorker there from Starc. Nice and full, right in the block hole. But nicely played in the end by a cube. Got to be careful for that Starc Yorker, of course. Had a pretty good IPL, Mitchell Starc, for the Kolkata Knight Riders. Starc is in again. This one, a full toss outside off stump, and a cube works it out to David Warner at backward point, and there's no run. Missed out on a potential boundary there, and there's no run. Yeah, it's not quite carrying to David Warner there at backward point, but Starc looking to get a second wicket here. Starc in, this one full and driven down the ground for 4 to long off by a cube. A boundary for Oman. Much needed boundary in this power play as they look to chase down 165. They need every scoring opportunity they can get. Bit of a pitch there from Starc and well lent in by a cube. Just sort of a push, really, using the pace of Starc and glide that to the boundary effortlessly. Starc in, this one short. On the pads, could be a run out. Oh, missed it. Oh, no. What happened there? Oh, well, then. Well, trying to describe what has just happened is that it was a ball on leg stump. A cube tried to work to the leg side. There was a bit of confusion in the running. He was sent back by Pratibhati at the other end. There was a throw at the stumps that missed, and then Glenn Maxwell came in and hit the stumps, and he was celebrating a run out, potentially. I'm going to go upstairs to the third umpire. Bit of calamitous cricket there on both sides. No one really backing up from Australia there. Josh Inglis, let's have a look. Was he out? Nope, the bat was firmly in the popping crease. Good awareness there from Glenn Maxwell, but a little bit too late as a cube made his ground in the end. Matthew Wade colliding with him as well as he was diving to try and get that ball. So not out, he survives a cube. And for Oman, they don't lose their second wicket. Tim David, he was there fielding on the leg side. Took his time. He settled himself to throw at the stumps, but he missed. Matthew Wade tried to cut across to try and intercept the ball, and then Glenn Maxwell mopping up after that. And that's the end of the over as well. It's the end of the over 1 for 20. Oman, this is a steady start from Oman. 1 for 20 in the power play, but they do know that chasing 165 is a tall order, and you would think Australia should be able to defend this on a pitch in Barbados that is not really coming on to the bat. It's quite slow and low at times. There's a bit of turn out there as Hazelwood continues another over. He's in to Pratibhati. This one short, hooked away by Pratibhati. Not quite timed, but he'll get a single to deep backward square leg, and he moves on to 7. Oman, they need 8.5 runs and over. 8.55 the required run rate. So it is going to be a difficult chase indeed. Hazelwood is in. And this one, a plainer miss by a cube. We try to go for a lap shot there. Didn't quite execute it. Plainer miss, through to the keeper, no run. Australia starting this match a bit scratchy at the start against Oman in their first innings. But then Warner and Stoinis found their groove. Good partnership, which was needed. And I suppose that's the thing, really. When you haven't played a team like Oman before, you can often find it difficult to get adjusted to their style of play. Hazelwood is in. This one just worked around the corner by Pratavati. Sorry, by a cube for a single to deep backward square leg for one. Hazelwood, economical as always. None for 4 from his 1.3 overs. 2 runs off this over and a dot. And Australia will be looking to book 2 points and top the group in Group B. Hazelwood is in. This one left alone outside off stump. Through to the keeper, no run from Pratavati. He's 7 off 10, a cube 11 off 11 at the other end. First time that Australia and Oman are playing in a T20 international. First time today for them, playing against each other in a T20 international. And you'll get that a lot in this T20 World Cup with the associate nations. Hazelwood is in. This one back of the length and worked off the outside edge by Pratavati to backward point, no run. 1 for 22 for Oman. Last ball of the 4th over. But thanks for joining us, everyone. And I hope everyone is enjoying this T20 World Cup. It's an interesting, exciting tournament. And we've seen some good cricket. Hazelwood in. This one beats Pratavati, passes outside edge, through to the keeper, no run. It's the end of the over, 1 for 22 after 4. Couple of runs from the over there. Good over from Hazelwood. Not an over that Oman needed. Only 2 runs. They need to score a lot higher than that. Australia, 5 for 164 from their 20 overs. Oman need a further 143 off 96 to win. And it's going to be a change in the bowling. Nathan Ellis into the attack, replacing Mitchell Starc. Playing today, Nathan Ellis in place of Pat Cummins. He's a very good bowler in T20 cricket, Nathan Ellis. He's in to a cube. In this one, short and dabbed down to the offside to third man by a cube. He'll pick up a single. And Oman move on to 1 for 23. That was a back of the hand slower ball from Nathan Ellis. So you would see that from Australia. They'll bowl a lot of cutters and slower balls into this slow surface here in Barbados, the Kensington Oval. This pitch is not as pacey and bouncy. So the slower balls will come in handy. Ellis in. This one again leaps up and catches Pratavati on the gloves. Ball trickles down to the offside, no run. Yeah, let's just getting some lift on that delivery. Just wrapping Pratavati on the gloves there as he shakes his hand off the bat handle. That run rate has climbed for Oman. Over 9 runs required to the over. As Ellis is in. This one short, plain a miss. by Pratavati through to the keeper, no run. Nathan Ellis. Can he get the second wicket for Australia? Jihan says, why have prepared such a turgid pitch for this tournament? Yes, Jihan, I suppose that's the case in New York as well. The game against India and Ireland was similar to the game against South Africa and Sri Lanka. Not quite what people expected. Ellis in, this one 4. Pratavati works it off the pads, looking for a quick single, but he's sent back and there's no run. I suppose, Jihan, everyone used to the IPL and how the IPL was played this season, high scoring, and then all of a sudden you come to the West Indies for this T20 World Cup and the US, and you have pitches that are not quite conducive to high run scoring. In my opinion, it makes for better cricket, I suppose, because you don't want to see high run scores and all that. I suppose. Jihan says, New York is understandable because it's a makeshift ground. Yeah, that's right. A lot of people have sort of forgotten that. It is a makeshift ground. It is in a park, after all. Ellis in, this one traps Pratavati on the crease and given. He's out, LBW. Nathan Ellis strikes. It looks like he's going to review Pratavati. He has. I'm not sure that's the wise decision. Looked pretty conducive. It looked pretty conclusive, I should say, to me, but it is Joel Wilson after all. So he's gone upstairs for a review, but it looked pretty straight to me. Ellis targeting the pads of Pratavati, and he succeeded. Good to see him get an opportunity, Nathan Ellis. Let's have a look at the replay here. Yeah, pretty straight on the stumps. Yeah, that looked pretty good. That's going to go on to hit leg stump. His back foot was in front of leg stump. Don't think he's hit it. Ultra Edge will confirm that. Flat line as the ball passes the bat. The impact with the back flap of the pad on the back foot. Clearly in front of leg stump there. So a good decision in the end by Joel Wilson, which will be confirmed by ball tracking. Pitching in line, impact in line, wickets is hit. Umpire's call, that's good enough. So it will stay out, unfortunately. For Oman, they lose their second wicket, and Pratavati's got to go for 7. It's 2 for 23. And the Australian supporters cheering in the crowd for that wicket. Not so much from the Oman supporters in their quest to chase down 165. So Pratavati gone for 7 off 16, 2 for 23. For Oman, last ball of the 5th over. Thanks everyone for joining us. Let us know in the comments, in the chat, your thoughts on this T20 World Cup. How have you seen this World Cup thus far? How much have you watched of it? And I've been watching nearly all the games myself, and it's been quite an interesting World Cup. And we've seen a super over, Namibia and Oman, and we've seen games that have been quite entertaining. Other games like Sri Lanka and South Africa the other day, and obviously India and Ireland yesterday. Low-scoring affairs in New York. The pitch not as even, the outfield quite sandy, but as you would expect for a makeshift stadium that's only being built for this tournament, of course, it's going to be a little bit out of sorts. So Ellis in to Masood. And this one defended by Masood to the offside, and there's no run. And the over, 2 for 23, successful over from Australia and Nathan Ellis. In place of Pat Cummins today, Nathan Ellis. Pat Cummins having a rest, which is what you can do. I suppose, the next game against England will be Australia's next objective after this game today. That will be on Sunday morning, Australian time. Oman 2 for 23 after 5 overs. They've lost the 2 wickets, the 2 openers of Afavail for a golden duck and Pratavati just before for 7. Sam Ridder, thanks for joining us. You say Oman is good, handling Starc in his first 2 overs. It's going to be changing the bowling. Marcus Stoinis into the attack. He's in, and this one full on the pads and dug out by a cube to mid-wicket, and there's no run. Batted well, Marcus Stoinis. Good to see him in the runs. Got a half-century, much-needed half-century from his point of view, and also his own confidence. He's been lacking runs in T20 cricket for Australia for some time, so when he came in, that partnership with Warner was crucial. Stoinis is in, and this one guided off the outside edge by a cube down to short third man, and they'll pick up a single potentially, or dot ball. I think it was a dot ball. 142 off 88 for Oman to win. Seems a long way away at this current stage. They need nearly 10 runs and over. That run rate's climbing dramatically. Stoinis is in. This one short and worked to cover by a cube, and there's no run. Not a big crowd in today, but good to see people in at the ground in Barbados and Bridgetown. Good to see support for both teams, Australia and Oman. The Oman dugout looking, well, upbeat. I think you have to be positive. You can't be negative. Stoinis is in, and this one short, pulled by a cube all the way over deep backward square leg for 6. And I believe that's the first 6 of the innings. What a shot from a cube. Just worked that outside off stump. It was in his area, and he went for it. Well, someone's really got to go for Oman here. This run rate's climbing dramatically. Someone's really got to take the attack to the Australian bowlers, and I think it's going to be a cube. Short from Stoinis, and just sat up for a cube nicely as he hooked that over deep backward square leg for a 6. Much needed 6 for Oman, and definitely to get them going in this inning. Stoinis is in, this one full and dug out by a cube to cover, and there's no run. 2 for 29. Last ball at the power play. Just having a look at that 6 again from a cube. It was a nice shot. Stoinis is in. This one collects the outside edge and taken by Wade. A cube is gone. Just dangled the bat outside off stump and through to Wade, who takes it comfortably. And that's the end of a cube. 6 it out. And unfortunately for Oman, they lose their 3rd wicket on the last ball of the power play. Rolled his fingers across that. A bit of a cross seamer there from Stoinis, just collecting the shoulder of the bat. And a very good catch from Wade, tumbling over as he takes that catch. Stoinis pretty happy. He's had a pretty good game thus far. Got a half-century now, a wicket. So he's pretty chuffed. Not so much for a cube. He has to walk off. He's gone for 18, the captain. And it's 3 for 29 after 6. End of the power play. Australia well on top. And for Oman, it was always going to be a challenge chasing 165. I think we have to be realistic about that. Given how they battered the other night against Namibia, they struggled to get to 109 and they were bowled out. Could be the case again today. Jihan says, what's the other associates Australia have to play? Scotland and Namibia. Namibia, Jihan. So Scotland and Namibia are the next two associate teams Australia will play. Obviously, the next game Australia play will be this weekend, and that will be against the old rivals in England. But to answer your question there, Jihan, Namibia, who had a pretty good win over Oman in the Super Over the other day. So Australia can't be complacent when it comes to that game, of course. End of the power play, Glenn Maxwell is going to come in to bowl his off spin as Australia look to turn to spin, pardon the pun. And Glenn Maxwell is going to roll the arm over. He's in. Around the wicket to Masood, who defends to the offside, and there's no run. Marcus Stoinis cross-seamer there, just a bit of extra bounce, maybe a little bit. Not really moving his feet at all. A cube. And collecting the shoulder of the bat there. Maxwell in. This one worked by Masood to deep cover, and he's off the mark for a single. Sam Ridden says, I can't understand why your feed is so fast, and I'm still stuck watching 5.4. I suppose different internet, different streams, I suppose. Jihan says, so really need to beat Scotland and Namibia. Pretty much, Jihan. You would think Australia should do that. Even if England win on the weekend, then Australia will still go through anyway. If you win 3 games out of 4, you're pretty much guaranteed a spot through to the Super 8s from the group stage. This one worked by Cahill to the offside, and there's no run. Good fielding from Travis Head there. So that's pretty much what Australia will be looking at. And Maxwell is in. This one short and wide outside off stump. Cuts away nicely. Pass. Josh Hazlewood a backward point for 4 from Cahill. He's off the mark with a boundary. Glenn Maxwell not overly pleased with that delivery. He would have hoped for a better delivery there, but that one spun back a little bit. Bit of turn on the surface, but nicely played by Cahill. Nicely played off the face of the bat. Maxwell in. This one defended by Cahill to the leg side, and there's no run. Maxwell collects the ball, and he goes back to the top of his mark. Maxwell in. And this one defended by Cahill to short third man, and that's the end of the over. Dot ball finish, end of the over, 3 for 34. After 7. I think the important thing for Oman here, even though this target may be out of reach, it's just to have a bit of confidence, look to bat out the overs. Obviously, looking forward ahead to the rest of the tournament, it's important to spend a bit of time in the middle. The other game that is happening, PNG Uganda. Uganda, what a win for them. Their first win in T20 World Cups. What a story Uganda have been. They've defeated Papua New Guinea by 3 wickets. Papua New Guinea were bowled out for 77. And Uganda finished 7 for 78. So they got the job done at the end, Uganda. Maybe a little bit close for their liking, but a win's a win. They're a fantastic story, even to qualify for this event. They defeated Zimbabwe in the African qualifiers last year to be here. So what a win for Uganda. Stoinis is in. This one beats Masood outside. He's out. Passes outside edge, I should say, and through the keeper, no run. Marcus Stoinis, good to see him bowling well and taking wickets and getting a half century, which will boost his confidence. Australia need a lot more from him in this tournament as we progress throughout the tournament, as we go through to the group stage, Super 8s, and Australia really need him to stand up. Stoinis is in. This one full and driven by Masood to cover, and there's no run. But going back on Uganda, what a story for them. It's good to see them claim their first victory. No one was really expecting Uganda to win a game in this tournament, but they've obviously knocked off Papua New Guinea today, which was the other game in progress. And good to see Uganda claim their first win in T20 World Cup. So good to see that from Uganda. They're a good story. Stoinis in. This one leaps and catches Masood on the gloves and trickles out to the offside, the ball, and there's no run. Surprised him a bit, that extra bounce from Stoinis. So we have a look on the replay. Yeah, just caught him on the thumb of the glove. Bit surprised. Didn't really expect it to bounce that high, given that this surface here at the Kensington Oval is not the fastest or bounciest surface. Stoinis is in. This one outside edge and taken by Matthew Wade. Masood went for a wily old swing. Got the toe end of the bat, I think, or the outside edge. Either one, take your pick. But nonetheless, it's gone through to Wade. He's taken another excellent catch. Stoinis has got his second. And I'm afraid that's the end of Masood. And unfortunately for Oman, they lose their fourth wicket. Yeah, just came off the outside edge there, near the toe end. Just came back in a fraction, then darted off the seam a little bit there from Stoinis. Picks up his second. He's having a good game, Marcus Stoinis. I won't be surprised if he'll be the player of the match. Masood, he's got to go for one. It's 4 for 34. Marcus Stoinis, excellent to see him in the wickets. He's got 2 for 6. And it was expected that Australia and their bowlers would be very effective against the Oman batters with that extra pace and skill. And certainly on a surface that's definitely assisting the bowlers in some way, it was going to be difficult. Imran Khan arrives to the crease at number 6. And he's joined Cahill, who's at the other end on 4, from 4. It's been a good over for Stoinis, 3 dot balls and a wicket. Pressure building. Masood had to play a big shot, try and up the run rate, but unfortunately that was his undoing in the end. So Imran Khan, what can he do? He's going to be facing Stoinis, who's in, and this one back of a length, and he's out of his crease. They'll get a single on the overthrow. Could be a run out of the non-striker's end as well. No, he misses the stumps altogether, Tim David. So in the end, after that, they get a single. So he dabbed it, drop and run from Iran. Looking for a quick single, was unsure at first. Was sent back, nearly run out. An overthrow, no one backing up. David picked up the ball, threw at the non-striker's end and missed. So Australia could have had 2 run-outs. Missed both of them. But anyway, in the context of the match, I don't think it really matters. With Oman 4 down for 35, chasing 165. Here's Stoinis in. This one full and defended by Cahill to cover, and there's no run. That is the end of the over as well. Ended the over. Oman after 8 overs. 4 wickets have fallen for 35. Chasing 165 to win. Which seems a long way away at the moment for Oman. Australia looking to pick up the 2 points, get the job done. And then go into the game against England, which will be their next game on the weekend. We'll be looking to book another 2 points if they can. Obviously, England in that washout match against Scotland will be hoping for a couple of points as they try and qualify for this Super 8 stage of this T20 World Cup. Adam Zampa is into the attack, replacing Glenn Maxwell. He's going to have a bowl. He's in, and this one full and wide, full outside off stump, and driven by Iran to cover, and there's no run. Adam Zampa was pivotal in the World Cup for Australia last year, as Australia went on to win that tournament. Zampa in. This one beats Iran, skidded on, past his outside edge, nearly collecting the edge and the stumps. Through to the keeper, no run. That came out of the back of the hand. That was the wrong one. And Iran just not picking that. Wrong by Adam Zampa, as Zampa's in. And this one defended on the front foot by Iran. Back to Zampa, and there's no run. Adam Zampa is going to play an important role in the Caribbean, certainly in this T20 World Cup on these pitches that you will expect will turn in some capacity. As Zampa's in. This one short and wide outside off stump, cut away by Iran to deep point. Nathan Ellis does the fielding. They'll pick up a couple. Oman moving on to 37 for 4. Zampa is in. And this one defended by Iran to the leg side, and there's no run. Zampa getting into his groove here. First server in. Zampa in, and this one worked out by Iran to deep cover for a single to end the over. And the over 4 for 38 after 9. John says, greetings. Watching from my hospital bed after a fall. Oh, that's not good, John. I hope everything's well. I hope you're recovering well. That's not good to hear. Good to know that you're in good hands. Yes, I say, I won't give Bezos any of my dosh for prime paper wall for me. Yes, well, they do have the rights for the next few years. Amazon, of course, they bought the rights for the world events in Australia, for T20 World Cups, 50 over World Cups, and the WTC. So if you're wondering why the cricket T20 World Cup's not on Channel 9 or KO, that's the reason. I suppose that's just the world that we live in with streaming and all these companies. But anyway, that's just the way it is. Australia, next game is against England. That will be on the 8th of June. Ellis is back. This one beats Iran past his outside edge through to the keeper. No run. Oman looking disappointed in the dugout. 4 down for 38. Their next game is against Scotland. That will be in Antigua. And then the last game against England in Antigua on the 13th. So Oman had that tough loss to Namibia in the Super Over. And they'll be hoping to get a win or, be competitive at least. And that's what we want to see from all the associate nations. Ellis is in. This one, short and wide outside off stump. Guides it off the outside edge around down to third man for 4. And a much needed boundary for the Oman team. It doesn't matter how the boundaries come for Oman. They'll take the boundaries however they can get them. And off the outside edge down to third man for 4 is a good way to do that. And Ellis, 1 for 5, his bowling analysis. And he'll be hoping to add a couple of more wickets to that tally. Good to see him in the side. Obviously, Nathan Ellis, he's been unlucky over the last few years not to be in Australia's T20 side on a full-time basis, given that obviously Hazelwood and Starc and Cummins are a part of the bowling attack as well. Adam Zampa just trying to find the ball. It's gone underneath the side screen. So he's found the ball. He's thrown it back, so we're all good after that short interlude. And Adam Zampa will be chomping at the bit to bowl the next over after Ellis. He looked testing in his first over, got the ball to spun a little bit, skid on a little bit under the lights, as it would often do. Here's Ellis, he's in. This one angled in to Aran, but he works it out to third man for a single. And I think for Oman, for them, as I said earlier, it's just about trying to bat out the overs, trying to get some runs if they can, play their shots. They've sort of got that freedom to do that, I suppose, chasing a score that is, for them, a very difficult target to chase, 165. Up against an Australian team that are one of the favourites to win this tournament, as many people have said. Here's Ellis in, this one short, cut away by Cahill to deep point. Maxwell does the fielding, as always. Good arm, throws it back to Wade, and they come through for a single. Mitchell Marsh, first game as skipper in the T20 World Cup. He didn't make many with the bat today. He'll be hoping to make some sort of contribution in the next game. But first game of the tournament, obviously just getting into the swing of things, getting used to the conditions here in the Caribbean, as Ellis is in. This one short, slower ball bouncer outside off stump, left alone by Iran, through to the keeper, no run. He was wondering why that wasn't called a wide, but well inside the guideline, and the umpire lets it go as a dot ball, doesn't call a wide. Well, thanks everyone for joining us, wherever you may be. And good to be back for this T20 World Cup as we navigate our way through this tournament and enjoy the game of cricket. And that's why we're all here. Not bad over from Ellis, only the 6 from it. A boundary and a couple of singles and 2 dots. He's in now, Ellis, to Aran. This one full, driven by Aran. Pass mid off for 4. A lovely shot to end the over for Oman and the 10th over. It's the end of the over. It is 4:48. Halfway. Another 10 overs to go in this innings. Well, thanks everyone for joining us, and I hope everyone's enjoying cricket and hopefully enjoying what you are seeing from this tournament. And Australia embarking on their T20 World Cup journey today, looking to win their 2nd title and be the first team to concurrently hold the World Test Championship, the 50-over World Cup, and the T20 World Cup simultaneously. And they are a good chance to do that, that's for sure. Definitely a good chance to do that. So halfway, drinks has been taken. After 10 overs, drinks break. A lot to ponder about for Oman on this drinks break. Where to go from here? For Australia, it's about just trying to finish off the job quickly and boost the net run rate. And when you're in these positions of dominance, you want to try and do that. So they'll be hoping that they can finish off the job as quickly as possible. Look to get the last 6 wickets cheaply and look to boost that net run rate, which will be crucial in terms of boosting that net run rate. You never know. It may come down to a net run rate situation if it does come to that. So drinks still being taken here in Barbados at the Kensington Oval. Australia well on top. Oman 4 for 48 after 10. And Australia looked like not getting to that score of 164. It was a bit difficult for them up front. But Marcus Stoinis and David Warner got a couple of half centuries, good partnership, and sort of rescued the Australian innings a little bit there. Also, the pitch as well is a little bit slow. Bit of turn out there on offer. And Oman did well up front. They bowled very well up front to contain Australia a little bit there. But unfortunately, got away from them a little bit, and now they're in trouble with the bat at 4 for 48. So we pretty much know where this match is going in terms of its conclusion. Zampa to continue after drinks. This one full and swept by Cahill to deep backward square leg. He'll pick up a single. And maybe the chat from the Oman dugout at the drinks break was to try and bat out the overs if we can, try and look to bat out the overs if we can and not get bowled out. Small wins for Oman. I think that's where they've got to look at it. Small wins, small targets. Yes, it hasn't quite gone to plan. Zampa in. This one full on the pads. Iran works it to a deep, wide, long on. He'll pick up a single, and that brings up the half century for Oman. But 4 wickets down, unfortunately. In their quest for 165. Zampa in, and this one swept and worked off the face of the bat from Cahill. Just sort of a paddle sweep, really. Down fine leg, he'll pick up a single. He moves on to 7 off 8. $114 off 57 is the equation for Oman. Zampa is in. This one full, work to the offside for another single by Iran. He moves on to 15 off 14. But definitely an important game for Australia, just to get into the tournament, get a bit of a feel for what's happening. Zampa is in. This one again, full and wide outside off stump. Glided off the face of the bat from Cahill. We'll pick up a single down to short fur man. And 5 singles off the over. So boundaries are very few and far between for this Oman team. Yeah, in this innings, this partnership 19 off 19. Zampa is in. This one swept outside off stump by Iran to deep backward square leg for a single to end the over. And the over, it's 4 for 54. After 11. 9 overs remaining. And the Kensington Oval looking splendid under the lights. Australia well on top. Oman certainly up against it in terms of this score, this target, up against an Australian team that most likely one of the favourites to win this tournament. That's for sure. 4 for 54 from 11 overs. Highest score for Oman is 109. That's what they got in the first game they played against Namibia. Starc is back. And this one full and driven on the up. Iran down to deep mid-off for no run. Mitchell Starc got the first wicket in the first over. So Mitchell Starc rotating his bowlers here, giving them short spells. Starc, this is only his third over. Stoinis has picked up a couple of wickets. Ellis 1. Starc with 1 for the 4. Starc in. This one full, driven by Iran to extra cover. Bit of a ricochet there from Travis Head. They'll pick up a single off that misfield. And another run onto the tally. Starc in again to Cahill. This one full and wide outside off stump. Playing a miss by Cahill through to the keeper. And it's going to be called a wide by the umpire. Just outside that guideline. Pat Cummins having a chat to one of the support staff there. He's not playing today, Pat Cummins. Having this game off, he'll probably be back for the next game against England, which you would think this weekend. Starc in. This one short, bunted by Cahill. Back to the bowler, and there's no run. And David Warner. Half century also went past Aaron Finch to be Australia's leading run scorer in T20 internationals. In his last World Cup, David Warner will be retiring after this tournament. It's gone past Aaron Finch. Most runs for T20 internationals for Australia. 3,155, beating Aaron Finch's 3,120. Starc in this one, a full toss outside off stump. Swing and a miss by Cahill. And through to the keeper, no run. Mitchell Starc looking for that second wicket. Starc in. This one full outside of stump. And Cahill picks out deep point. And the catch is taken. Starc picks up his second. Glenn Maxwell doesn't drop those. Takes a comfortable catch. Unfortunately for Cahill, he cut that straight to the fielder at deep point. Unfortunately, he's got to go. Oman lose their fifth wicket. Easy as you like from Glenn Maxwell. Simple catch. Taken comfortably. That is the end of Iran's innings. He's not happy as he slams his bat into his thigh. Not happy with that shot. So Cahill gone for 8. It's 5 for 56. Oman losing half of their side for 56 runs. Last ball of the 12th over as Shoaib will come out to the middle as a new batter. And he'll have the task of trying to rescue this innings for Oman, or trying to at least get some respectability in terms of in terms of Oman's score. Obviously, 5 for 56 doesn't make for good reading. We've seen quite a few low scores like that in this World Cup. Sri Lanka and South Africa and India and Ireland. The games in New York have been that sort of score, really. Starc is in to Shoaib. This one full, traps Shoaib on the pads, and appeal for LBW and given straight away by the umpire. So first ball, Shoaib trapped on the crease, wrapped on the pads. Mitchell Starc bowling. Left arm over the wicket, angling the ball into the pads, and picked up another wicket potentially. But Oman have reviewed it. So they've gone upstairs to review it. Might as well in this situation, you're 5 wickets down for 56. You might as well review. You've got a couple of reviews left. Might as well use one of them, I suppose, and hope. So we have a look again on the replay. Angling the ball in, Starc. That angle into the right-hander, left arm over the wicket, around the wicket. Just, yeah, not moving that. Trapped on the crease. Really, Shoaib. This hit him up on the knee roll. Didn't collect the outside edge, inside edge of the bat. Clearly missed it. Impact was with the pad. Going through the process. Ball tracking now, pitching outside off, impact in line, wickets missing. It was missing the leg stump in the end, so the umpire will have to overturn his decision. Good review from Oman in the end. Yes, and just looking at the replay, with that angle, of course, left arm around the wicket to a right-hander, the ball does have to come back a fraction on that line and that angle. And unfortunately, the ball just carried on and missing the leg stump. So good decision in the end, and Oman don't lose their 6th wicket. So good review there at the end of the over. 12 overs completed, 8 overs remain. Oman looking just to survive the overs, really, not get bowled out cheaply. But Australia would like to finish this off quickly. As I mentioned, obviously net run rate. They would like to make sure that they finish off the job. Oman 5 for 56 after 12. It's going to be Zampa in. This one full. Defended on the front foot by Iran to the leg side. No run. Australia, I wouldn't say they were at their best today. A little bit rusty with the bat. But with the ball, they've been pretty good. Zampa is in. This one traps Iran on the crease. It's skidded through. Probably going down the leg side. Turned down by umpire Joel Wilson immediately. Probably pitching outside leg, but it did skid through and trapped Iran on the crease. As we have a look at the replay, that one coming out of the side of the hand. Skidding through. Yep, just probably pitching outside leg and probably missing leg stump. Zampa is in. And this one pulled by Iran outside off stump to deep mid wicket for a single. He moves on to 18 off 20. Shoaib only faced the one ball yet to get off the mark. Oman 5 for 57. Chasing 165. Adam Zampa, can he get a wicket? He's the only bowler. Hasn't got a wicket yet. Zampa is in. This one collects the outside edge, has it from Shoaib. There's an appeal for caught behind and given. Yep, given by Joel Wilson in the end. So Shoaib beaten all ends up. Collected the outside edge. Good take from Wade. And they're going to go upstairs, Oman, for a review. I suppose in this situation, well, you might as well go upstairs. And I don't think Shoaib was convinced that he nicked that. But judging by the reaction of Wade behind the stumps and by Adam Zampa, you would think he has. This was a wrong-un, came out of the back of the hand. Having a look at the replay, was there any contact? Oh, it looked like it collected the outside edge. I think that's deflected. Or maybe the bat, the inside edge, and the toe of the bat probably collecting the front pad, but Ultra Edge will confirm. No, nothing on Ultra Edge. Flat line as the ball passes the bat. Well, Matthew Wade and Adam Zampa were convinced that there was an edge, but unfortunately there was nothing. Another good review from Oman. A couple of reviews gone in favour of the Oman team. And Shoaib survives for the second time. He could have been out twice, but he survives. Could have been out LBW to Starc, missing leg stump. Could have been out caught behind to Adam Zampa, and he didn't hit it. He reviewed it straight away. Zampa is in. This one a full toss. Whipped off the pads by Shoaib, but he can't pierce the gap. He only finds the fielder at mid-wicket, and there's no run. Matthew Wade's kept pretty well today, taking a couple of good catches, and Zampa is in. And this one bowls him. That's the end of Shahib. His luck has run out. Third time lucky for Australia. Pretty much yorked himself, Shahib. And Adam Zampa didn't miss. He collected the stumps. And unfortunately for Shahib, he's got to go for a duck. And it's 6 for 57. Yeah, this one, pretty much yorked himself. Went underneath the bat, collected the stumps, and Adam Zampa says, well, you may have survived a couple of reviews, but on this occasion, I was just too good. And that's the end of the over. 6 for 56. 7 overs remain. Oman struggling a wee bit, chasing 165. And that's probably what we expected, really, at the start of this game. We really expected that Australia would put on a big score of this note and would put pressure on with Oman with the ball. And that's certainly been the case. Josh Hazlewood is back. He's going to bowl his third over, none for 4. He'll be looking to pick up a wicket. And Australia will be looking to finish off the job, really. 7 overs, really net run rate. They want to boost that. Marin. So it's going to be Miran Khan will be the new batter at number 8. He'll be at the non-strikers end because that was the last ball of the over. Hazlewood is in to Iran. This one back of a length, worked off the outside edge by Iran, down to third man. He'll pick up a single. And he moves on to 19. Yeah, the last wicket there, Shahib just yorked himself, really. Adam Zampa too good, good deception. That ball just went underneath the bat and onto the stumps. So good for Adam Zampa to get his confidence up in this T20 World Cup, get a wicket, get into the tournament, look to help the side out and contribute. Hazlewood in. This one short pull by Miran Khan. And this is out to David Warner, deep square leg. He'll pick up a single. He's off the mark. Six for 59, Oman. And struggling, as we expected in this run chase. Hazlewood is in. And this one glided off the face of the bat from Iran, down to third man. He'll pick up another single. Score moves on to 6 for 60. 20 for Iran, so he's definitely top scored here for Oman. The Australian team, they'll be pretty happy with this first game in terms of getting into the tournament, making sure that they're ticking off the boxes and crossing the I's and dotting the T's. As Hazlewood is in. And this one lofted by Moran over mid-wicket. He'll pick up a single at least, maybe a couple. They'll come back for 2. Didn't quite time that, but the end result was a couple of runs onto his tally. Marcus Stoinis has done well today. Scored a half century, picked up a couple of wickets. I won't be surprised if he's named the player of the match at the end of this game, and I think he will be. And good to see Marcus Stoinis contribute in the way he has today. Certainly over the last few years, he hasn't quite done that on a consistent basis. Hazlewood in. This one traps Moran on the pads. And the ball goes to the keeper, and Matthew Wade does well to prevent any runs, and it's a dot ball. Looked a little bit tad high there. Josh Hazlewood not really interested about LBW. Wrapped him on the thigh initially, so yeah, a bit high. Good from Matthew Wade just to keep it to a dot. Last ball of the over, Hazlewood is it. This one full and lofted down the ground by Moran. Over the rope for 6 to the side screen. Not a bad way to end the over from Oman's point of view. Now to the over, 6 for 68. Something for the Oman team and for the supporters to smile about in what has been a difficult match for Oman. A bad shot from Moran, and just probably what Josh Hazlewood didn't want in the last ball of the over. Over pitching slightly a little bit, and Moran pounced on it in a flash with a brilliant lofted 6 down to the side screen. So Starc back for his last over, 2 for 19. He'll be hoping to finish off the job here and there. Pick up a couple of wickets to the tail of Oman. And Oman need a further 97 or 36, which looks unlikely, being 6 for 68. Starc in. This one full down the leg side. Going to be called a wide. And that will have to be rebowled again from Mitchell Starc, as he does a few stretches here, Mitchell Starc, stretching out his hamstring, maybe a bit of cramp. He's bowled well tonight, Starc, and that's the important thing for Australia. So Mitchell Starc stretching a little bit here. Maybe he's going to come off. Maybe just a bit of in his follow through. He did pull up a little bit gingerly. Did a bit of a hop after he delivered that ball. Let's hope it's not too serious from Starc. He just grimaced a little bit there. Just stretching it out. The physio is out there attending to him. Maybe a bit of cramp, maybe. It is quite hot out there in the Caribbean. Of course, the climate, humidity. Obviously being out in the field running, a bit of a cramp or muscle spasms, that can often happen. Get the fluids and the hydration. So he's stretching it out there, Starc. And look, really for Australia, they don't really have to risk Starc here. Look, they can, they're going to go on and win this game, obviously. It's better not to risk, I suppose, at this stage. Take him off. Doesn't need to bowl this over. Bowl someone else. Pretty much the game's already done and dusted. Get him off. Don't need to risk him. It's early on in the tournament. It's only the first game. I think it will be pretty conservative of Australia just to take him off, not to risk it. Upcoming games. Tomorrow, Namibia and Scotland do battle in Group B. And Scotland, they would have been disappointed not to get a full game against England. They look pretty good. None for 90 in that game in the short sample size that we got. But that game will be crucial in terms for both teams if they are going to qualify in Group B, given that England are in Group B and they had that no result against Scotland. And obviously Australia playing in this group as well. That game against Namibia and Scotland tomorrow would be crucial. And that should be a good game. Also, the USA and Pakistan will do battle tomorrow as well. And that will be in the States, in America. Can the USA win 2 from 2? They had a good win against Canada in the first game. They'll be in Texas at the Grand Prairie Stadium. Tomorrow. So we've still got a delay here for Mitchell Starc as he's getting some treatment from the physio. Better not to risk him, I suppose, at this stage. Doesn't really need to bowl the over. Take him off. Let's hope it's not too serious from Mitchell Starc. He has been stretching his calf out there, Starc. He's been doing some stretches to that. He did pull up a little bit ginger as he bowled that delivery. So he's off the field. Cameron Green's on, limbering up as the sub. So Starc will get some treatment, and let's hope it's not too serious. So it's going to be Glenn Maxwell to finish off his over. And of course, a lot of people will say, well, he shouldn't play the IPL. So we'll wait for people to say that. I won't be surprised if people make those assumptions and say, oh, he shouldn't have played the IPL before a T20 World Cup. Injury risk. Well, I suppose in any sport that you play, there is a risk with injury. You just have to accept that. But let's hope it's cramp. It could be cramp. Maxwell is in. This one defended by Iran to Mitchell Marsh, a cover. There's no run. Jihan says, oh, great. We've lost Starc. Jihan says, typical if he gets injured, just as he's in top form. And Jihan says, let's hope it's just cramp. It could be cramp. Maybe it's just cramp. Better off to take him off, be conservative. Don't need to risk him, really. Australia are going to win this game comfortably, so better not risk it. Look to take the conservative approach. But as I did mention, a lot of people would say, why did he play the IPL and all that stuff because of this? Well, I won't be surprised if people say those things, as they usually do. Maxwell in. This one kept a little bit low, but Moran gets bat on it and works it down to wide long on, where Cameron Green does the fielding and they pick up a single. But probably cramp. Mitchell Starc, he was stretching that calf out or his hamstring, one of the two. And as a fast bowler, of course, you're going to get those niggling problems. Now then, there's an appeal for stumping. So Glenn Maxwell could be getting a wicket here. Jihan says, looks so humid there. Yes, well, they've had a bit of rain over the last few days in Bridgetown, so it is quite humid out there. The players are sweating a lot. So maybe it's just cramp, humid conditions. You're in the outfield, you've been bowling, probably cramp from Starc, maybe just pulled up, maybe the muscle just cramped up and seized. That's not out stumped. Matthew Wade did well, but that back foot was firmly planted behind the popping crease. So no need to take it any further. Glenn Maxwell doesn't get a wicket, but he'll be hoping for a wicket here if he can. And it's important for Australia just to finish off this innings, I would think. Get the last 4 wickets in the last 5 overs or so, boost net run rate. You always got to think about that, even though it won't be a factor you would think for Australia. But as we've seen in this group thus far in Group B, it could get interesting. Maxwell is it. This one full worked off the outside edge by Iran to backward point for a quick single. And they make it through. But observations from the match, I think Australia will be pleased with a win. Obviously, the next game against England will be on the weekend. So I'm hoping it's not too serious for Starc, maybe just cramp. Maxwell in. This one worked by Moran, to deep point for a single. But other than that, the bowling's been good. Everyone's chipped in with a wicket. Good to see Marcus Stoinis in the runs and David Warner, half century, important for him after a lean IPL. Maxwell is in, and this one worked down the ground by Iran to mid-on. Maxwell does well to field off his own bowling, keeps it to a single. It's the end of the over. It's 6 for 75. As we enter the latter stages of this match, 5 overs remain. Australia well on top. And Oman, they started well with the ball, Oman, early on. And then Australia have wrestled the momentum back, as you would have expected. But I suppose that's what it's all about in this T20 World Cup with the associate nations. Oman, they are inside the top 30 in the rankings in T20 internationals. Nearly all the teams are basically in this T20 World Cup. If you look at the rankings, they're all in the top 30 or so. And obviously not the game that Oman would have wanted. Zampa is in. This one short, pulled by Iran. Over, deep, square legs head. Glenn Maxwell jumped and leaped into the sky as best he could, but he couldn't catch that. Sailed over his head for a maximum. And first boundary in a while for the Oman team. Glenn Maxwell, he can achieve a lot of good things, Glenn Maxwell, in terms of his abilities, but unfortunately, he would have had to be Stretch Armstrong to catch that. Trying to stretch out that arm, but he couldn't. Zampa in, this one worked off the pad by Iran down to fine leg for a single. Gave it a good go, Glenn Maxwell, but just sailing over his fingers. Unfortunately for Oman, it didn't result in a wicket, but it rewarded 6 runs. Zampa in, this one worked by Moran on the inside edge down to fine leg for another single. So Oman looking to just bat out the overs. Zampa in. And this one pulled high and long into the sky, over the rope for 6. Another 6 from Iran. And that's the second 6 in the over. And something for the crowd to cheer about. And certainly for the Oman supporters, something to cheer about after what has been a very difficult night. Not a bad shot from Iran. And sort of towards the bottom part of the bat, the toe end. Got enough on it. 91 metres in the end. Zampa is in. This one a top edge. Over to Josh Hazlewood at fine leg, who takes the catch at short fine leg. So 6 and out from Iran. It was pretty entertaining for him. A couple of sixes, and he's thrown the kitchen sink at that. Top edge, straight up in the air. A simple catch for Josh Hazlewood at short fine leg, who takes a very comfortable catch. Oman lose their 7th wicket of this innings. And unfortunately for Oman, he's got to go for an entertaining 36 or 30. It's 7 for 89. Seven for 89. And last ball of the 16th over of this innings. Easy as you like, simple, top edge, comfortable catch taken by Josh Hazlewood as Shakil Ahmed arrives to the crease. And he's at number 9. Not too sure about his batting prowess, but usually when you bat at number 9, you're obviously indication that you are a tailender. So what can he do with the bat? He's averaging 10.5 in T20 cricket, 74 runs in his career. So he's got a best score of 23, so he can definitely hang around for a bit. Zampa, an expensive over, but nonetheless, he got the wicket that he wanted. He's in, and this one beats Shakil past his outside edge through the keeper, no run. Good ball, good delivery to end the over from Zampa. End of the over, 7 for 89. After 16, 4 overs remain. Let us know in the comments about your thoughts on this match. How would you assess Australia's performance? We would love to hear what you have to say. And stay tuned for our match review of this match as well. That will be coming out in 24 hours from now. So stay tuned for that as we talk about this match. It won't be a very long one. Be quite simple in terms of how this match has gone, as everyone would have expected. The match has turned out that way. Australia scoring the big total. Oman reeling at 7 for 89, just losing wickets at regular intervals. They haven't established a partnership. The Australian bowling's been good. And pressure on the Oman batters, that's been evident in this innings. Josh Hazlewood, can he finish off proceedings? He's in for his last over. He's in. This one short ball by Moran through square leg for 4. And the fielder at long leg could not cut that off. So a couple of boundaries for Oman in the last few overs certainly have upped the scoring rate a little bit, but not going to be enough, I'm afraid. Yeah, just didn't get up that short ball. Not short enough from Hazlewood. Just ran about chest high. So easy for Moran just to work that away behind square for a boundary. Hazlewood is in. And this one down the leg side. And Moran gets a bit of bat on it onto his pad. Trickles out to the leg side for a single. Maybe got a bit of bat on that. No, he just came off the pad. So a leg bye on that. On that delivery, and he'll pick up just the one. Adam Zampa, 2 for 24 from his 4. Being very economical. 6 runs and over, 11 dot balls in that spell. A couple of wickets, he'll be happy with that. Hazlewood is in. This one full outside off stump, and Shaquille swings hard. Connects, and he will work it out to a deep point for a single. And he's off the mark with a single to get off the mark. Hazlewood in. This one short pulled, top edge in the air, taken by Wade. Another comfortable catch, was it? No, it wasn't. It was the dot ball. Came off the helmet, I think. So you have a look at the replay. I think it came off the helmet of Moran. Let's have a look. Short ball from Hazlewood. Went for the pull shot. Moran just threw the shot too early. Yes, it did collect him on the helmet, right on the badge of the Oman cricket logo. That's not a nice place to be hit. So his ears will be ringing a little bit there. And he'll be hoping to continue, but he will be checked out by the doc and the physio and making sure that he's okay. Oman losing wickets at regular intervals. It's been that sort of day for them in this innings. wicket after wicket, not really establishing too many partnerships to speak of any note. We did see good innings from Iran, top scored with 30-odd. But apart from that, it's been pretty convincing from Australia today with their performance, as we would have expected. And we've expected that. And Oman just limping towards the end of this match. Oman. Hazelwood in, this one full outside of stump, worked off the face of the bat from Iran to deep point for a single to end the over. End of the over, 7 for 96, 3 overs remain. And Oman limping towards the end of this match and this conclusion, which was pretty obvious a few overs ago that Australia would go on to win this game quite comfortably. Sci-Fi TV Infinity, says Australia will win this time too. Yes, they will. It's a comfortable performance, that's for sure. Oman need 69 off 18, which looks unlikely. Ellis is back and a single off his first ball. 7 for 97 for Oman as they try and bat out the overs, try and get over 100 if they can and get some respectability in the target. Hasn't been an easy day for them in terms of the bat, that's for sure. Ellis in, and this one worked by Shaquille down to a deep long on for a single. Oman taking the steady approach in this innings here. Slow and steady, hoping to do well. Ellis is in, and this one full and bunted down the ground by Marhan. And he'll pick up a single as long on and long off converged to cut that ball off. Cameron Green and Tim David. Oman 7 for 99, so they are going to go over the 100 mark. That will be good for them. Australia, 3 games after today. We've got England on the 8th, Namibia and Scotland to wrap up their group stage matches. Ellis is in. This one full, wide outside of stump, and Shaquille works it to deep long off to Cameron Green for a single. Brings up the 100 for Oman. 7 down and 65 runs short of the target. So, in the end, it will be a convincing win to Australia. And they'll be pleased with their performance. They'll be pleased that they've got a win first up. Obviously, Mitchell Starc going off. Let's hope it's not too serious for Starc in terms of that. Maybe just cramp. This one short by Ellis and pulled by Moran. Over deep square leg for 6. David Warner could not cut that off. And another boundary for Oman. Something for them to smile about in what has been a tough batting innings, that's for sure, up against the quality of the Australian bowlers. .69 metres, that's 6. And I've seen a few 6s today from the Oman batters. Good to see. Good to see them taking it on and hoping to get the results that they want. Ellis in, this one full and wide outside off stump but it's going to be called a wide by the umpire. He's got to re-bowl that one again. It's not really a concern for Australia in terms of giving up that extra. Obviously, 58 more runs to play with off 13 balls. So the odds of Oman winning are very slim. So anyway, a good over from Oman in the end. 6 and 4 singles and a wide. Ellis in, this one full of wide outside off stump, chopped down by Moran. He'll pick up a couple of runs out there to deep cover. He'll come back for 2 to end the over. It's the end of the over, 7 for 109. A couple of overs remain. Two overs remaining. Australia 7 for 109. Oman chasing 165. Mitchell Starc looks well, he picked up a bit of an injury, maybe cramp. Did tweak that calf a bit, but he was stretching it out. As we have a look at the replay and how it happened, he did limp a little bit. And then he went off. He's there in the dressing room looking, he's looking okay. He's not really too concerned. Stoinis is in. This one full and wide outside off stump, but Shaquille works it out to deep cover for a couple. They'll come back for the second easily. Couple of runs onto the tally for Oman. Stoinis in. This one short and cut away and to a deep backward point for 4. Glenn Maxwell couldn't cut that off. Another boundary for Oman as we enter the final stage of this match, and Australia well on the way to pick up a couple of points in their first game of the tournament. To kick off their World Cup, T20 World Cup campaign. Stoinis is in. This one outside off stump, and it's going to be called a wide by umpire Joel Wilson, and has to re-bowl that one again. Stoinis, I think he'll be pretty pleased with his performance today. Stoinis, a couple of wickets, be pretty pleased with his outcome and output. Picked up a couple of wickets, scored a half century, so I won't be surprised if he'll be player of the match. Stoinis is in. This one, a full toss outside off stump, and Shaquille works it out to deep cover for 1. Oman 7 for 117. So pretty much a Stoinis in. And this one a full toss and lofted by Moran to long on for his eventual dismissal, because Tim David has taken a very good catch on the boundary. He caught the ball within the boundary rope. He knew it was going to go over the rope. He threw it back in. He caught it comfortably. And the umpire's going to check it. But it looks like he did a pretty good job there, Tim David at long on. So the umpire's going to make sure to see if that catch carried and was taken cleanly. But for Marcus Stoinis, he picks up a third wicket potentially. Tim David says, yep, I caught that fairly. But we've got to make sure, just in case, that everything ticks the boxes in terms of that. Let's have a look. Catches it comfortably inside the field of play, throws the ball back as he went over the rope. As soon as he went back into the field of play, he caught it comfortably. So that's pretty straightforward there. Tim David showing his good fielding skills. Unfortunately for Oman, that's their 8th wicket down. It was an entertaining knock from Maran. He scored 27 off 16. He's got to go, though. It's 8 for 117. And the end is nigh for Oman. They've got 2 wickets in hand with 1 over, with 1.2 overs remaining. So it's going to be Khalil Mullah, the new batter, in at the crease. He bowled well up front today. Picked up a wicket or 2. Unfortunately for Oman, it's not going to end in the result they would have hoped. But first time playing against Australia, it's a good opportunity to play against a very talented side. So it's going to be Khalil Mullah to finish off this Oman innings, potentially, if he can stay out there for the next 1.2 overs. And he'll be hoping he can do that. Here's Stoinis in. This one, a full toss on the pads. Khalil Mullah pulls high and long into the sky. The ball will find its way to Tim David at deep mid wicket. He'll cut it off for 2. And he's off the mark, Khalil Mullah. Looking at the Tim David catch again, it was a very good catch from Tim David. Comfortable. They practice that a lot these days, catching on the boundary. And for Marcus Stoinis, picks up his 3rd wicket for 17. It's been a good game for him, half century as well. And obviously player of the match, you would think, for him. Certainly good performance today. Stoinis in this one. Collects the outside edge of Khalil Mullah, just falling short of the fielder there. Mitchell Marsh at cover. They scamper through for a run. It's the end of the over. It's 8 for 121. 1 over remaining of this match between Australia and Oman. Match number 10 of Group B of this T20 World Cup for 2024. So 1 over remaining in this match. One over left. 44 runs Oman need off the last over. Ellis to finish it off. He's in. This one full and driven down the ground by Shakil. Only to long off for a single. So Oman, they've hit a few boundaries towards the end of the innings here. So respectability, I suppose, for Oman. Obviously, they didn't get bowled out for under 100, which is a good result. I think they can take the small wins. And I think the team will be looking at the small wins and saying, yep, we'll be pretty chuffed about the targets that we set ourselves in this match. But obviously, it hasn't gone the way that they would have hoped. In the end, Australia too strong. Ellis is in. This one full and wide outside off stump. Outside edge and over the top of Marcus Stoinis at short 3rd man. Got a hand on it. wasn't able to connect with the catch, and that will go down as a drop catch in the end. Yeah, got the hands to it, just couldn't connect. But in the context of the match, it's not really a costly drop by any means, and they pick up a single. But he's had a good game, Marcus Stoinis. 3 wickets, a 50 with the bat. Ellis in, this one short. Shaquille lofts it straight into the hands of David Warner at deep backward point. Takes the catch comfortably. And Oman lose their 9th. Shaquille gone for 11. It's 9 for 123. 1 wicket remained for Oman in their innings, and obviously in the last over of this match. And for Nathan Ellis, picks up a wicket to kick off his T20 World Cup campaign. So Ellis to Bilal, who's the last batter at number 11. And he will be bowling Ellis to Bilal, who is the last batter for Oman. Today, he's got to face the music to Ellis. Ellis is in. This one, a swing and a miss by Bilal, through to the keeper, no run. So it's been a good performance by Ellis with the ball. 2 wickets for 26. Just looking at the catch, Australia, they've been good in the field, good catching. Haven't dropped a catch except for the Stoinis one, which they either stick or they don't. But besides from that, it's been pretty comprehensive, you would say, with ball and in the field. The batting was a little bit scratchy, but managed to get to a score, which was the main thing. Ellis in, this one full, and driven down the ground by Bilal to long off, and he'll pick up a single, and he's off the mark. So Australia, comprehensive victory for them in this first game. Obviously, they'll be happy to get off the mark with a win. Obviously, Mitchell Starc is a concern a little bit. Let's hope it's not too serious. He was taken off. Let's hope it's not too serious. Maybe just cramp, maybe just a precaution. But other than that, a pretty comprehensive win nonetheless. Ellis in. This one a leading edge from Khalil Mullah. Works it out to deep backward point for a single. That's the end of the game. Oman finish on 9 for 125 from their 20 overs. Australia have won by a margin of 39 runs, and they have won this game convincingly. A little bit scratchy at times, but a very comprehensive victory for them. And for Oman, they'll be disappointed in terms of their performance with the bat again today. A lot of the problems that they had against Namibia, the same problems again against Australia. But that Australian team will be very happy indeed to get the first 2 points of the tournament in this first game against Oman at the Kensington Oval. We'll have a bit of a recap of the match summary and have a bit of a recap of the scores before we sign off. So Australia batted first and made 5 for 164 from their 20 overs. Marcus Stoinis top scored with 67 not out of 36. He shared in a good partnership with David Warner, or 56 or 51 David Warner made, to get Australia to that 5 for 164 score from their 20 overs. Maran Khan took 2 wickets for 38 from his 4 overs for Oman, and a wicket each for Balil Khan and Khalil Mullah. Oman, 9 for 125 from their 20 overs. Iran Khan top scoring with 36. And for Australia with their bowling, 3 wickets for 19 from 3 overs for Marcus Stoinis. He was the pick of the Australian bowlers. 2 wickets for Starc, Ellis and Zampa. No wickets for Hazlewood and Glenn Maxwell. Australia winning by 39 runs to kick off their T20 World Cup campaign here in the West Indies and the USA. So pretty comprehensive win by Australia as expected going into this match. They'll be pretty happy with how they performed. It was not a comprehensive victory. Well, it was in the end, but a few things to tidy up on. But I think they'll be pretty pleased with how things have gone. Pretty straightforward win by Australia. As expected, picked up the 2 points. They topped the group. Next game against England. And that will be in a couple of days' time back here in Bridgetown in Barbados, here at the Kensington Oval. That will be a bit of an early game for Australian viewers. I think it's around about 3 a.m. or something like that. So that's the next game for Australia. And that will be the game that will determine whether or not England will go through or not in terms of their qualification. Robot Ved says, yeah, pretty normal win. Yeah, pretty straightforward. Pretty straightforward win, that's for sure. And that's what Australia have done there. For Oman, they'll be disappointed. A lot of learnings to take out of this game, definitely. For them, it's all about just learning from this experience and where can we get better for them. So, Oman, I thought they bowled well up front. They started really well with the ball. And then after that, Australia just got a partnership, and it only took one partnership to get them off and running. Sam Ridder says, great game. Robert Ved says, fun to see what Oman had to offer. Yeah, definitely. They'll be disappointed, but even to play again against Australia and to have that experience against them, I think is a good thing. They'll be disappointed with the result, of course, but you learn, you get better, you learn from these experiences, and no doubt they'll definitely learn a lot from this experience against Oman today. Against Australia. But it wasn't to be. As expected, Australia, the tournament favourites, have started well. So definitely. Sam Ruda says, lots of learning for Oman. Yes, definitely. They can definitely learn a lot from this tournament, from this experience. I think it's important for them to do that. You always got to learn from your games, and learn from what Australia did. They're a quality side, and they've definitely learned a lot. Definitely. So, and that's the case for all the associate nations as well. Also, there was another game on today as well. We'll just update everyone on that. If you didn't catch the other game that was on today, there was Papua New Guinea and Uganda. And Uganda had a great win there, their first win ever in a T20 World Cup. That was played in Guyana at the National Stadium. Papua New Guinea were bowled out for 77, and Uganda made not light work of the target. They found themselves 7 down, but they were 7 for 78. They won by 3 wickets with 2.4 overs to spare, and picking up their first win of the tournament. So fantastic to see Uganda get up there in that game. That was the second game that was on today in this double header of games in this T20 World Cup, following the game against Australia and Oman. So I think that's about it, really. Nothing more I can add to that. My final thoughts before we sign off, and concluding thoughts in regards to that. pretty comprehensive win by Australia, as expected, and get off and running in this tournament with a win. And for Oman, disappointing, but they will learn a lot from this performance. So yeah, pretty much that's it. That's all I've got. So make sure that you obviously subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure you click the bell so you don't miss out on all the episodes that we do on the Dibbly-Dobbly podcast. Also, this T20 World Cup coverage. Stay tuned for the match review between Australia and Oman. We'll be doing that. That will be coming out tomorrow, hopefully, where I share my thoughts on the match and how everyone did. So stay tuned for that. So make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss out on all the episodes and live streams that we do. Click the bell so you don't miss out as well. Also follow us on Twitter and on Instagram. Also, the podcast is on Anchor, Spotify, and on Apple Podcasts. We're also on Patreon as well. So go check us out on there. Yeah, that's about it. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. I hope everyone had a great time. And we hope to see you back next time for another live stream during this T20 World Cup. Until next time, keep safe and bye for now.